And that's your song. Recently, one of my music production students got stuck on a song he was building and reached out to me for help. He sent me a message along with this song and he said, here's the loop I built for my assignment. I'm hitting that same wall again and I know I have to build a drop or something, but I have no clue where to start. Let's take a listen to his song and see how we can help him. Good vocal, good chords. Sound like chords I would make. That's pretty. Clearly a beautiful piece of music with a lot of potential. The only issue is he got stuck right here and doesn't know how to proceed with building the rest of the arrangement. Getting stuck on the arrangement like this when you already have a great loop going can be very frustrating and challenging for producers of any skill level. That being said, I really vibed with this piece of music. I thought it would be cool to show you my approach to how I would take this and finish the arrangement. This way I can clear up some mysteries of arrangement for you as well as my students so you don't have to feel stuck again when you are arranging your song. Alright, so let's do this. Whenever you have a loop that contains the melody and the chords, or in other words, just multiple lines of music, I think all of the answers are already right in front of you. Here's what I mean. If we wanted to make it hard on ourselves, we can create a melody from scratch and start developing that melody. Or we could take any of this and just make a melody out of it. Check this out. Listen to this piece here. I'm just going to take that real quick and turn it into a melody and see what we get. Nothing has to stick here. We're just generating ideas. I'm going to put it on a new line, and I'm just going to make some kind of vocal chop melody. That's kind of cool. Now that's a rough idea of what the drop could sound like if we developed it a little bit more. Question is this lead melody cool enough to be the lead of the drop? I don't know the answer to that. So when I'm in this situation, I'm just gonna build a draft of a few things, a few ideas, and then pick the best idea. So my second idea I have is turning the chords into a melody. And there's like 100 different ways we could do that. The way I have in mind is I'm gonna duplicate these chords and I'm gonna add rhythm to them. And the way we can do that is just to take them and add some crazy rhythm to them. So what I want to do with this new rhythm is I want to stick with Serum 2, but I'm going to reset it and start with a blank slate. And I'm going to make a sound that has a little bit more dance energy, lead energy, and overall more energy. It's going to be such a simple sound too that I'm going to make that you can follow along and make this sound on any synth of your choice. I'll make sure to explain it in such a way that translates to any synth. The sound I have in my head is going to be like a soft attack synth pluck. To make this, we're going to start with a sawtooth waveform. Then I'm going to go to the filter and just turn it on and pull it all the way down so if you press play, you can't hear the sound. I'm going to tighten up this filter. And then we're going to go over to envelope 2 and drag and drop it onto our cutoff knob. I'm going to pull this modulation point thing, this blue line, to like 2 o'clock if you're looking at a clock. That's what we get, but I'm going to pull the sustain down so we get that nice, warm electro pluck. And I'm vibing already. This is going to be fire. Wait a second. Can we just play this with that vocal? This is going to be fire. I'm already vibing so hard. We now have two beautiful options for melodies, and we didn't even have to make anything from scratch. We just turned what we already had into melodies. But I'm not done. Let's go back into this synth pluck. I know we can make this better. Let's analyze it under Ozone Imager 2, which is a free stereo imaging plugin that you can download for free on Google. And if we look at the imager, what it's telling us is that our sound is really narrow. We have all this stereo space that we can fill up with a really wide sound. If we go to the beginning of our track and we look at the verse chords under the same plugin, they're also very narrow. So that means since our listener will have listened to very narrow chords for this amount of time, if we get into this section and we make our chords really wide, it'll be very, very satisfying to listen to. So here's the drop chords. If I go back to oscillator A and add some unison, look how wide they get. Just that contrast in stereo width from section to section will create the most satisfying sound. I'm going to go to the effects tab too, and I'm going to dress these up a little with a little bit of delay. And some reverb. I'm going to use a hall reverb. They tend to be a little bit thicker than plate reverbs. And I'm going to do one more thing. I think this would sound really pretty if we went to the attack on envelope 2. I feel like you get a more indie kind of deep house sound when you soften the attack to plucks now. I don't know. But now it's the hard part. Which of these do we want to make the melody for our drop? The vocal? Oh, that would be cool. I just know what's best for the songs if we went into something like this. Here's how I would test which lead is actually the winner here. Let's start with the pluck. We'll test that one first. I'm going to mute this vocal melody. We're going to test the energy of this transition right here. Whichever melody makes a more satisfying transition, we have to stick with that one because it'll make a better song. I'm going to go up to these chords. I'm going to kind of like fade them out as we approach this transition. Then what we'll do is the same thing here. We'll fade out the drums so that the drums die with the vocal. So we'll do a little bit of a high pass, a little bit of a low pass. Then I also have this pretty transitional effect here. It sounds like this. And that'll just help enhance the transition. And then one more sound that always works is one of these. And I need some context, so I'm going to start at the beginning of the hook. That is so pretty. Imagine like a I think that's the one. Let's check out the vocal. So if I ran the vocal hook, I would take his chords. Let's see what we get. I don't know. I love the melody so much, but I don't think it fits the arrangement or is the best choice for the song like these would be. They think we got to go with the chords. You guys, let me know in the comments what you like better. Do you like the energy of this or the chords? And while you comment, I'm going to make these chords into the drop. All right, so when you have your drop lead or your drop melody established, in other words, you know what the drop melody is going to be, you have to figure out how you transition from the vocal part of the song into the drop. And that is really hard to do. It's something I still have trouble with sometimes. So I can either do a short transitional section that we would call a build-up, or I can do a long one. The build-up is where you introduce the drop lead for the first time, kind of like what we did here. So we introduce the drop lead, and you have to be the judge on how long you introduce that drop lead before you bring in the rest of the drops, like the bass and the drums. I'm going to try a short one first and get the drums in by this point. Just going to grab these drums and bring them in. All right, so I like making things really easy so I can create as quickly and efficiently as possible. So to make my bass sound, I'm just going to duplicate the chords, and I'm going to use that sound as the bass as best as I could. So the best notes to use for the bass is either the tonic of the scale that you're in or the bottom notes of the chords. In this case, we have chords, so we could just use the bottom notes and put them in an octave more suitable for chords. I don't want a bass with any unison on it. I just think it gets too muddy sometimes. I'm just going to tweak this around. I'm going to add some sub bass to it. One more thing. Let's add some passing notes to this bass. I think it'll sound cool. I want to hear this note. Alright, so I just spent way too long adding some effects to this build-up to enhance it a bit. I think the build-up's too short, but it still sounds really cool and satisfying. Let's give it a listen. Beautiful. And that's your song. Check it out. What a fun little jingle. And that's your full song. Now all you do is copy and paste this, and in each section, make little changes and little enhancements as the arrangement gets toward the end of the song. That's a video for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like me to coach you one-on-one so you can reach your highest potential as a music producer, check out the link at the top of my description below to work with me one-on-one. Also check out my self-paced course options in the description below. This is where you could chat with and share your music with myself, as well as every student that I've ever taught. Once again, the links for those resources are at the top of the description below. Stay tuned for the next video lesson.